everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. So I work in Google. I'm sure that all of you have probably used either Google Search or YouTube or Gmail. You may be laughing at the photo. That is me in the model village down in West Cork. As you can see, I'm a normal-sized person. So, so I worked at Google, and I've been working for Google for about the last year, and I'm going to tell you about my journey of how I got there, what I did beforehand, what I did in college, and a bit about what we do as site reliability engineers, which I'm sure this is a job that none of you have ever heard of, because nobody has. So here are some lovely photos of me again. So I studied computer science here at Trinity. I went to college between 1998 and 2002. And I think, like most of the other speakers here today, I didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And in fact, I'm still not 100% sure, but I quite like where I am right now. So I chose computer science because I had taught myself to code a little bit when I was a teenager before college, and I really enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed the aspect of, designing systems, putting them together, and kind of troubleshooting things when things fell apart. That was always very interesting to me, so that's why I chose computer science. When I left college, we were in a really, really, really bad economic time in the technology industry. You're all probably a bit too young to remember None of you, I'm guessing, remember the dot-com bust, but that happened in 2001. Basically, there was this big stock market ramp up, and then all of the money went out of technology. And at that point, it was quite hard to get a technology job, so I kind of scrambled around for like 9 months or so, and then I found myself a job working for a company called Current Software. And I started out running automated tests and doing testing stuff, and then worked my way into their software engineering division, and basically worked there, just working my way up for the next 8 years until I turned out to be a principal software engineer, which is a pretty senior software engineering grade. So then I decided that it was time to move on. I moved into more of an e-commerce role, and I worked on performance engineering for a e-commerce site for about a year or a year and a half. And what I would do then is I would make sure that our website stayed up and scaled. The website I worked for at the time was called Gilt Group, and they do fashion flash sales, and their business model is that everyone on the west coast or the east coast of the US arrives at their site at one time and tries to buy things. And this is quite challenging from a website perspective because you have no traffic, all of the traffic. And before I joined, they often had problems. After I joined, after a little while, things got quite a bit better. So after that, my next job was Google, which is what I'm going to talk about now. So as you can kind of see, my career evolution has been a little bit, hey, this is where I am now. It's quite good. Here's a thing I could do, and you kind of like a lot of the other speakers have said, you figure your career out as you go along. And we also have a couple of pictures of my hobbies. I like to go scuba diving. That's brilliant fun, and I also like to lift heavy stuff over my head, and I'm a national champion at that. If anyone wants to hear more about weightlifting, come talk to me. So, how to describe the actual job that we do? So, most of you have probably heard of software engineer as a job, right? So people who write programs. So site reliability engineers are kind of like software engineers. I mean, we have all those skills that software engineers have, but our particular role is not to develop new systems so much as to make sure that the system that we're working on never ever is unavailable. So you guys know that when you go to use Google or go to use Gmail or YouTube, it's pretty much always there for you, right? Unless your internet is broken, you can get to Gmail, right? Yeah. So that's because of the work that the people who do my role in Google do. We make sure that systems are designed in such a way that, things can break behind. Maybe one of our fiber cables gets cuts. Maybe one of our data centers burns down, and you'll see more about this later. But you guys never notice because we're running the system in different places, and if something breaks, we just move the traffic around. And that's all coordinated by people like me. So we have two lovely, intriguing pictures here. So this one here on you guys' left, this is I can't really show pictures of my job because it's really boring. It's just people sitting around in offices. But, logically, this is what we're doing. This is an old Soviet nuclear control panel. And we spend a lot of our time building kind of like software equivalents of this, because we have these really big, complicated software systems. They're running in tons of different places around the world, in different data centers. It's not just one program. We might have hundreds of different programs interacting in different ways. And we need to be able to see what's going on with our systems and understand it, and also to be able to control it. So a lot of what the work we do is effectively software versions of that control panel. Graphs and charts and indicators as to what's happening in the system. And also knobs and buttons so that we can change it when we have to. So if some diver dives off and cuts our cable in some part of the world, we can route traffic around that. We can make our systems still work so that you guys can, watch cat do videos on YouTube and never ever see the difference. So the second part, the part with the car, is this is an analogy that one of my colleagues has used about our job. We're like a Formula One pit stop team. Except we'll change the engine in your car while it's still going. We're experts in, re-architecting and changing a system to make it better and more reliable, and we'll do this while the system is up and serving traffic constantly. So we're experts in making those things happen seamlessly. Another thing that we do, and this is kind of the less fun part, is that when things ever go wrong, we take quite a big role in helping to sort out whatever has happened, which it's different every time. These types of problem-solving investigations are absolutely a fascinating part of their work. You'll never lack for an intellectual challenge doing this type of job because, like another speaker said, every day is different. You can't kind of say this on Mondays I do this, on Tuesdays I do that. Every week is different, every day is different, and it's never boring. So, what do I like most about my job? These are zombies, as you can see. So every year in Google, because SREs, we really like to plan for failure. We also like to test that our plans for failure work. So we do this thing called DIRT, which is a disaster recovery test. What we do is we appoint one person to be in charge of the DIRT test, and this is a lady called Kripa who works in California, and I'm the DIRT coordinator for my team in Dublin. And the DIRT coordinator basically says something like, hey, this whole data center has been taken over by zombies. What are you going to do? Now, in reality, what they've probably done is they've probably disabled the network into that data center, but for all intents and purposes, you have to behave like zombies have gotten into the data center. They're eating the data center tech's brains. They're destroying the computers. They're never coming back. So the point is that we test our processes to take corrective action for this and work around it and plan around it. We even do things like we plan for our entire headquarters in Mountain View to be gone away. How do we all get paid if those people are gone? Can we function as an organization? So DIRT is a tremendously interesting part of the job. This is the worst part of my job. I carry a pager for my services. Now, luckily for me, we have two teams. I work with a team in Mountain View, and so we have 12 hours of the day, and they have 12 hours. But because we're not quite evenly distributed throughout the world, our 12 hours start from 6 a.m. in the morning. So this is me having been woken up at 6 a.m. for some sort of a page. So if anybody would like to hear more about Google and the careers there, because SRE is not by any means the only type of career we have, we're going to be outside and down the way as well. And we have brought some pens and swag and stuff over, so come and get some nice things. Thank you very much.